everyone, it's a new day, but I just wanted to show you what our little bingo worksheet looks like for our random acts of kindness. So this is what it looks like. I have it rainbow just because there's like different columns for each task that I ask them to do for their random act of kindness, and they have to do all the ones that are listed, but if money is an issue, like if they are in a Starbucks line or at 7-Eleven or something and they have to buy themselves something small and then cover the person behind them, I put that in a special column, so they're kind of labeled for colors on, okay, so green means that you might need a little bit of money, so take out your change, put it on a vending machine, things like that. So they're kind of just labeled like that, and my classroom's rainbow, everything's rainbow, so I'm like, let's do rainbow. So this is what it looks like. It's a lot of text, I'm not gonna lie, but each box has a different idea of a random act of kindness that the kids can do, and if kids don't have enough money to like pay for someone behind them, they can always make up a new one. That's why I have these little ones at the bottom. So instead of doing all of them, I actually have them do 20, so this would actually cover 25 if you add these. So I tell the kids if they do all of them, they get extra credit, as in all 25, but they are only required to do 20. And if there's some that they can't do because they don't have the financial means or whatever situation, they can add their own at the bottom. So I just have boxes of lines so they can write their own in there, and it would substitute for one of these other ones that maybe they can't do. So this is what it looks like. I made it myself. It just gives them directions and tells them every little thing that they can do. That's just what it looks like. I really suggest doing that because the kids get really excited about helping each other, and I also put in some there where they kind of like take a day for themselves or reward themselves. I have one in here where they have to go to a park and play. Because I'm at a continuation school, I teach kids that are anywhere from 15 years old to 21 years old. So something that often gets lost as we get older is just that freedom and that ability to just play. So one of them on here is actually to go to a park and play. So play on the swings, play on the slide, and feel what it's like to feel like a kid again with that freedom. So I have some in here that are like treat yourself too, because you deserve, you know, to be taken care of too. So a lot of them are helping others, but there are a couple in here where they help themselves too. My next idea is to require your students to hand out gifts during holidays. So it could be for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, or for Friendsgiving, or anything like that. Just require the kids to hand out something to other students. It doesn't have to be to the entire class. Maybe do like a secret Santa or a secret student type of activity every now and then, so that they can just kind of give back to their friends. It doesn't have to be something that they buy. It can also be something that they made. It could be a handmade letter, a handmade card, just a little DIY project. Sometimes you may get a student who they don't celebrate any type of religious holiday like Christmas. So in those instances, you can call home and ask that the student is able to participate, and just let them know that it's not a religious type of thing that you're working with in class. It's more of like a friend, like building relationships type of activity, where instead of giving presents, maybe just writing a letter would do so much for another student. As long as you call home and just explain to them that it has nothing to do with any type of religion or anything like that, that you do this a lot, it's continuous, and it's not just for Christmas or things like that, they might understand a little more and let their student participate as well. Another example would be for Mother's Day or Father's Day or anything like that. Have a project in class so the students can give back to their parents. A lot of parents struggle with their kids these days, and you can kind of see it sometimes, but you want to make sure that you're able to give back to the parents, that you're able to not only build relationships in the classroom, but you're able to build relationships outside of the classroom. Maybe there's a student who has a tough relationship with their mom or their dad. Just do projects in class for Father's Day or for Mother's Day. So if the student doesn't want to go out and buy flowers for someone, for their mother or something, they can write a letter, they can do a project and put a picture collage together so that they took the time in class to do it, and they don't have to go out of their way to do it, and they can just take it and give it to them and build that relationship together as well. My next tip or suggestion is to have a letter to your students on the first week of class. Read it to them and have them write one back to you. So this is my letter that I have to students. It's really long, but it's really valuable information inside. It's not just introducing me, it's, you know, helping them know, like, I'm so glad you're here. At the end of reading it, students are required to actually write back. So they have to fill this whole page. I wrote this much, you can write this much. So the students actually practice writing really good letters as well. So I do that in class. Make sure whatever you put in that letter is important information. So don't put rules, don't say that like, oh, oh, I graduated from this college, because realistically, I don't think the kids care that much where you graduated and when you graduated. They want to know who you are. So put information in there about how happy you are to have them and what you're going to do for them this year, how you're going to take care of them, you're going to protect them and show them that you care. Just make sure that the students have something to feel good about when they read it, not something that will bore them. So I actually read some of my letter to you in another video, so you can check that out as well. I really suggest having a letter the first week of school so that they know right there, like, hey, I'm really glad you're here and I'm here for you, so let me know. I want you to make sure that you feel like you can trust me. Let me know if anything is wrong, if you need help with anything, if you just need to talk, I'm here, let me know. I just think that's so important. And again, that's something that I do at the beginning of the school year, usually within the first week, because that kind of sets that ground, that basis of who I am and why I'm here and why you're here. So try that out in the first week. Write one of your own. Again, I read some of this in a video, in one of my previous videos. Check that out. You can copy it if you want. I don't mind at all, but definitely try this out, see how that works for you too. So another activity that's actually really similar is what I'm starting to do in my class now. It's where the first 5 minutes of class, students, instead of writing a journal, are going to be writing a letter to a classmate. So I assign each student a classmate and they have to write an encouraging letter for that person. I tell them that you don't understand what that student is going through during the day. Maybe they're having a really bad day and they just aren't showing it, and they're trying to hide that, and they're going through like nothing's wrong, but really deep down they're struggling with something. So I tell them to write a letter to make them feel better. As if they're having the worst day, write them a letter so that they know that you're there and you care and you're happy to have them in class and things like that. So I collect all those letters after the first 5 minutes. I will screen them, so I read them to make sure that they're good. I give points for them as if it's an assignment, like a participation extra assignment type like that. So I screen them to make sure that they're good, they aren't, you know, saying bad things and things like that. And then I'll put them in envelopes. So I have envelopes up on my back window with students' pictures on them and their names. So the students can actually get their letter in an envelope each day the next morning. So after I screen them, I put them in the envelope for them. They come inside and they can grab theirs and read it as we go through the class, or just take it with them at the end of the period. And it really just helps the students come together, bond, and just build those relationships that they may have otherwise not have had the opportunity to do. So I'll show you what it looks like right now. Alright, so this is my window so far. I just put some paper on each window here. The top is going to be red. I'm not finished with it yet. I was originally planning on putting the letters on my cabinet, but I don't want too many students over here when they drop the letters in and grab them. And then I was going to put them over on this door, but I also don't want too many students over by the door to enter and leave. That would just bother me too much. So I decided I'm just going to put them on the window. So I'm covering the windows. It'll be red, blue, and yellow, and then I might cover the others as well, just to like keep that theme. But I am going to put all the letters on this bottom one, just in case our shorter students can't reach them if they're up here. And at the top on this one on red, I'm just going to say like random acts of kindness and helpfulness. So this kind of has to do with Honda as well. If you've heard on the radio or on TV commercials, the random acts of helpfulness, that's kind of where I got the idea. So it's random acts of kindness and helpfulness. So I'm going to be putting that at the top up there, and then the letters will go here in the middle. So after kids write their letters, they'll put them in a box so I can read them like a turn-in bin. Then I'm going to screen them and I'm going to put them in the students' envelopes. So this is what the envelopes look like. So it's just a pink envelope. I cut off the back, I cut off the flap at the top, and I'm just going to cover the name and the student. But I have the student picture on this side and the name on this side. That way, if students don't know each other, you know, there's always students who just kind of, they're there, but they don't have a big personality, so they kind of don't talk to a lot of people, not a lot of people know them. So if I assign a student name and they don't know who that person is, well, now they can check what they look like. They can check the picture and the name to make sure they match up, and they know who they're writing to, so they have more of an idea what to write about. So again, all those will be on the window. Students will just grab theirs out of there to read it, and I will put them in for the next day for them to read it. Alright, so my last tip for you is to teach by example. Show your appreciation to the students. Teach them about words of encouragement and words of affirmation. I know that words of affirmation is a love language, so teach them the different love languages that you can use in friendships or just any type of relationship that you have, just making sure that people feel appreciated, because you don't know if they're dealing with loneliness or depression. Maybe they had a bad day, maybe they're getting bullied, or just something happened. You don't know. So just teaching them by example. So when I'm in class and a student does really well, not only am I going to give them Puma bucks or like little rewards, I'm gonna give them words of affirmation. Hey, you did really well today. I'm so happy that you did that. I'm so glad you're in class today. And just changing how you word things and how you say things. So if a student comes in late, instead of scolding them, why are you late again? Ask them, hey, I'm so glad you made it to class today. I'm really glad you're here. So just changing the way you say things changes a student or even just a person's entire perspective. And if that person's having a bad day and you say, oh, you're late again, well, maybe it's because their mom was yelling at them and whatever situation, you don't know. So if you're kind of scolding them for that too and you don't know what's going on, it's gonna affect them negatively. But if you change it into a positive and just say, hey, I'm really glad you're here, I'm glad you made it, this is what we're doing, come on, join us. Anything like that, it changes the whole situation. It could end up as a battle between teacher and student, which you don't want this verbal battle. Instead, you want to make sure that the student knows, I'm here, I care for you, I'm so glad you're here, let's get started together. So teach by example. Show them that you are doing these things too, not just by telling them, hey, glad you're here, good job, telling them things, but do things too. Show them that you wrote a letter for a teacher and you put it in their mailbox, or you bought donuts or a coffee for your colleague, for another teacher, for a staff member. So if it's staff member appreciation or teacher appreciation day, show them that you're participating too, or just helping anybody. Write a letter, talk to students, let them know that you're participating too, and you're teaching by example. Alright, so that's it for today. Please make sure you give this video a thumbs up, like it if you like it, subscribe if you haven't already, click that bell, and I will see you next time. Bye!